Hi, friend. If this Ooey Gooey chocolate pecan pie bar looks good to you, then stick around because that's what we are making today. So first, I'm putting a little bit of flour on this pastry sheet. Now, I purchased refrigerated pie crust, and I've used those a few times before. I generally like to make my own pie crust, but I figured for this dessert, it's at the bottom of pecan pie, so, I mean, how bad could it be? What is bad, though, is this pie crust would not come unrolled. I worked on this for several minutes, so I ended up just speeding through this because it literally takes me several minutes just to get this unrolled. And then when I do get it unrolled, it's splitting and it's falling apart. So I probably won't work with pre-made pie crust again. Unfortunately, I bought these at Sam's Club, and the smallest pack they had was a pack of 6. So I may just have to bite the bullet and use them for something, or I can gift them to somebody else who has a little more patience than I do. So now that I finally have it rolled out, sort of, I'm actually going to make it a little bit bigger with my rolling pin. The recipe calls for a 14 by 10 inch rectangle because it's going to go into a 13 by 9 casserole dish. Thankfully, pie crust can be a little forgiving and you can just pinch it together when you have tears or holes, so we make it work. It is a little bit of a hot mess at first. I have to keep pressing and pinching it together. The recipe says to have the pie crust come up a half an inch up the sides, and I do leave a little bit more than that. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough on the sides, and I like pie crust, so a little bit extra is never a bad thing. Okay, so for the first layer, we're adding an 8-ounce block of cream cheese. And to that, I have added a 1/3 cup of sugar, and then I'm adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, we're adding 1 egg that I've left at room temperature. And I'm just mixing that until combined. And I've put the pie crust back in the refrigerator just to stay chilled. So I'll pull that out and then pour this first layer into the crust. So I'm just going to spread that around evenly. And then I'll stick this back in the refrigerator again while I make the next layer. So the next layer is 3 eggs, another 1/3 cup of sugar. This also has a teaspoon of vanilla. To that, I'm adding 1/4 cup of melted butter, and then 1 cup of light corn syrup. This is very much just like pumpkin pie, or sorry, pecan pie. We won't be making pumpkin pie for another few weeks. So I've just got that all mixed together, and to that I'm adding 1.5 cups of chopped pecans, and then 4 squares of semi-sweet chocolate, coarsely chopped. And it's the Baker's semi-sweet chocolate that I got. They're small squares. And the recipe doesn't call for a pinch of salt, but I'm adding it because I think just a tiny pinch of salt enhances those flavors, even in desserts. So we're just going to pour on that second layer. Spreading that out a little bit to make sure it covers the first layer. Then I have my oven at 350 degrees, and we're going to pop that in there. And I ended up baking this for 35 minutes. If it's too jiggly, you would want to cook it probably for a few more minutes. So we're just cutting this into small squares. This is actually tomorrow. We're having our family's annual open window party, sort of a holiday we made up for ourselves because we love this time of year. So these are going to be served tomorrow, but of course we are going to need to give them a try today. So I've let these cool to room temperature before I even cut them, and they will need to be refrigerated. So once I try these, I'll get these out of the pan, and then I'll put them in the refrigerator for the night. These chocolate pecan pie bars are so amazing. They are rich, but they are absolutely delicious. Even with the pre-made refrigerated pie crust, they are so, so good. My husband even tried them and was really not wanting to save them until tomorrow, but he did get one. So there we have it. Chocolate pecan pie bars. Absolutely delicious. I hope you try them.